Senator Mitch McConnell. He was in Kentucky at a Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, I believe, event, and he was doing a press conference with the press. And in the middle of this press conference, he freezes, very much like the episode that he had a couple weeks ago where he had a seizure. This is outside of the Capitol when he had the seizure the first time. This is what it looked like happened again. Let's take a look at this video. I'll walk you through what's happening as it happens.
Running for re-election in 2026.
So he's asked whether he's going to run for re-election, and then he just freezes. What's strange is he's not just refusing to answer this question. Like, you can see that his eyes become vague and blurry, and then his handler comes over. His eyes, look underneath his eyes. He's obviously having a seizure right now. Anybody who has a family member who has ever had a seizure recognizes exactly what this is. This is a seizure. And then he kind of comes back to, it's like almost going unconscious without losing consciousness. How old is Mitch McConnell? How old is Mitch? I'm Googling this right now.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
He's 81 years old. He's 81 years old. He is the Senate Minority Leader. This is the second time this has happened in the space of, what was that, a month ago? It couldn't have been more than 2 months ago that this happened in front of the Capitol. And for a long time, I have been opposed to the idea of age limits when it comes to both Congress and the presidency. And I think I've changed my mind. I think I've changed my mind because, for two reasons. One, Mitch McConnell is one of the most powerful people in the world. He's not just one of the most powerful people in Congress. He's not just one of the most powerful people in the United States. He's one of the most powerful people in the world. He's incredibly corrupt. He's corrupt. I can't quite compare his corruption level to Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, but it's the same sort of thing. His wife, Elaine Chao, is a perpetual bureaucrat, cabinet-level bureaucrat, and her sister has a shipping company that is tied to the Chinese Communist Party. And because of Mitch McConnell and Elaine Chao's position in the U.S. government, this shipping company gets contracts and it's tied to the Chinese Communist Party. Like, this is really deep and disgusting corruption. Mitch McConnell's part of it. It's part of the reason that he's opposed to impeachment of Joe Biden. He's a swamp creature. He's a swamp creature. And it's not just that that's changing my mind, although I think that probably plays a role in it, because right now he is continuing in his position, not because he believes that he's qualified to continue serving, not because the people around him believe that he's qualified to continue serving, but because he and his family and the people around him don't want to lose the perks of him being in a position of power. And that in and of itself is a whole other layer of corruption. Right now, we're governed not just by the administrative state and by unelected bureaucrats, we're governed by like ancient dinosaurs. Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell and Dianne Feinstein, Hillary Clinton, even Donald Trump, who I know it's hard to compare Donald Trump because he doesn't have the demeanor of a geriatric, but he's extremely old too. At some point, he will lose his faculties. At some point, he will lose his physical robustness. And what are we going to be left with? We're going to be governed by a row of people in assisted living homes. This is not good. This is bad. We're about to get to the point where the leaders of our nation who are governing us, making laws that rule our families and our society, are going to be ruling us from assisted living facilities. This is not good. And so this is why I changed my mind, because I was thinking about this from a very individualistic standpoint. Like, oh, why should Mitch McConnell not be allowed to serve if he wants to serve just because he's a certain age? And I realized that that's the wrong perspective through which to view this. I shouldn't be viewing this from an individualistic standpoint. Just like if I want to serve in the military, I probably can't because I don't meet the standards, the qualifications that allow me to serve in the military. Just like Mitch McConnell, if he wanted to serve in the military, he wouldn't be allowed because he's too old. It's okay to have limits that might not be pleasant for someone on an individual basis if it's better for the military or better for the government and better for society. So I think I'm changing my mind about this. I think I'm realizing that it is not a good thing for geriatrics to be ruling our nation when they are clearly in steep decline, as Mitch McConnell is, and obviously Joe Biden isn't even in steep decline. Like, he's at the bottom of the hill here. Someone let go of his wheelchair and he's just plummeting as fast as you can to the bottom.